Good day, my students. How was your day? I hope you had a nice time. In our last class, we discussed um, cells and the characteristics of the organelles, the different organelles and their functions. Today we are going to discuss characteristics of living things. My name is Mr. Uche Vincent Samuel. Welcome to our class. So today we're going to look at the learning objective of the lesson. At the end of this lecture, the students should be able to state the characteristics of living things and be able to explain in details these characteristics of living things. We're also going to do a little intro into types of reproduction. All right, what is this all about? Now, living things are characterized by the ability to grow, to respond to stimulus, maintain stable internal environment, or what we call homeostasis, then metabolize and use energy, reproduce, compete for survival, and adapt to the environment. So, in this, what is also essential is that the cells are the unit of life, and they should be able to reproduce. We should be able to continue their generation through various mechanisms. So we are going to look at the what we call acronym we are used to. You already know that maybe from your college, from your secondary school, maybe some stuff like that, or even in primary. We have an acronym, Mr. Niger DCA, to summarize all the characteristics of living things. M stands for movement, R stands for respiration, sorry, and N stands for nutrition, I stands for irritability, G for growth, E for excretion, R for reproduction, D for death, C for competition, and A for adaptation. So we're going to look at the major keys. We are not going to follow it the way chronologically the way it is, but we're going to look at the key uh, 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 aspects of characteristics of living things. So we have grouped them into these methods. So look at cell organization. Now, organisms are either unicellular or multicellular. If you remember in our last class, we talked about uh, unicellular organisms, the organization, and then we looked at multicellular organisms, okay, and the organization, eukaryotic and uh, prokaryotic animals, organisms. So now, in the organization, these units make up the life. So the next one is metabolism. Now, this is the process of using chemical components, to either build up or break down chemical compounds to produce energy. These energies are released in the form of ATP, okay, that helps the organism to run its daily activities, where it gets its strength from. So through metabolism. So we also have growth and development. It is an increase in size and complexity of organisms made possible by what? Cell division and differentiation. So if you still remember mitosis, mitosis is division of cells, somatic cells, okay, that increases in number. That's how the cells multiply by creating baby cells of similar species. And then differentiate is when they begin to get into their various kind of functions. The one for the tongue will be differentiated into taste. The one for the skin will be differentiated into feelings, and having the ability to respond to stimulus, so on and so forth. Now we go to the next characteristics: reproduction, ability for young ones to produce young ones of the same species that is either sexually or asexually. So this means that they want to continue their generation. So when they reproduce the young ones of the similar species, they are trying to maintain, their species throughout the generation. The next one is response to stimulus. So ability to react to changes in the environment. Changes could be water, humidity, presence of water or absence of water. So temperature increase or decrease in temperature. For example, if the weather is too hot, you see me trying to fan my body, or put on AC, use fan. But when the weather is cold, I want to wear a sweater and I have to shiver to generate internal energy to be able to bring heat uh, that will take care of the cold. Pressure, pain, turbidity, especially for aquatic organisms. All right, so homeostasis. What is homeostasis? Ability to maintain stable internal environment of the organisms. So in this case, we're talking about the body, inside the body, how do they react? How do they maintain stable balance? For example, when the weather is dry, the body kind of tries to conserve energy in a very dry, conserve water in a very dry environment. But when the weather is cold, you see that you urinate more, you conserve water more when you are hot than when you are cold. So this is a body way of balancing the water level. Okay, making sure you don't go beyond or below certain level of water. Okay, you also see some of the cold-blooded animals. So they used to come out during the cold weather to bask on the sun, like the snakes, like the lizards. Okay, but during the hot season, they kind of hibernate and find places where they can, find a cold environment, like even in the soccer way. Snails do that as well. Adaptation. Now, this is ability of organisms to develop traits that enables them to survive in the environment. So these traits are passed on from one generation to another. This ensures their survival, their steady, survival. Examples are the mouth parts of some organisms. Okay, is tailored towards the kind of feeding habit that they have. So the kind of mouth part that an organism may have depends on the kind of mouth parts it has. For example, if it's sucking, piercing and sucking mouth parts of mosquito, allow it to suck my blood in the night. So, and other ones, biting and chewing mouth parts of the cockroach, allows it to eat food and even the grasshopper and so on and so forth. So this is about the living things. Now, we're going to do a little introduction into reproduction. So now, we have two kinds of reproduction. We have asexual reproduction and we have sexual reproduction. So I'm going to kind of explain a little on that. In our next lecture, we're going to discuss in details sexual and asexual reproduction and mention, types and organisms involved in this category. Now, sexual reproduction is where a single parent reproduces genetically identical offspring, just like cloning, through processes like binary fission, fragmentation, budding, etc. If you can see through our illustration, you will see that we have yeast, the budding of yeast there. Okay, then we have in the sexual reproduction, we have the fusion, coming together of gametes, or what we call the sex cell, the sperm and the ova, by two parents to reproduce offsprings that are genetically diverse from the parents, although the species are the same. So, but here we kind of see this balance within these organisms. So, in our next lesson, we are going to discuss in details uh, sexual and asexual reproduction with their various examples. Thank you for being part of this lecture. See you soon. Bye bye.